All right. So, I'm thinking about Romero. I was thinking back to when I first saw Night of the Living Dead. It must have been, I must have seen it a couple of years late because I could drive. When Night of the Living Dead came out, I was too young to drive. But a couple of years later, I was driving. I lived out on Long Island. And, when you're a kid in the suburbs, you drive a lot. Like it's kind of like just to try and get away from home and to get into your own head a little bit. And I was driving with one of my brothers, I think it was. And we saw something that some of you have probably never seen in your life, a double feature. And it was, I know, it was the old days. They had double features. And it was two films neither of us had ever heard of, Night of the Living Dead. And I think the second one was Ben, in which rats take over the world while Michael Jackson, as a little boy, sings the song Ben. I think that was the second. And it may have been... Ben may have been the sequel to Willard, or Willard may have been the sequel to Ben. It was one or the other. So we came in and we thought, well, the double feature is a good deal, and we sat down and we watched Night of the Living Dead, got up and walked out. We were so terrified that the idea of even ginning our emotions up to take on another movie was completely out of the question. We could not do it. That was, I have to say, probably beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, I don't like zombie movies. I don't like monster movies. I don't like gore all that much, real gore like that. That was one of the scariest films I've ever seen. It may have been the scariest film I ever saw. To see that without warning in a movie theater on a big screen and not know what it was or what, with the acting was so amateurish and it had this real sense of that you were watching something real, had a real sense of a newsreel. It was terrifying, and it really did stick with me. And again, I don't like zombie stories, but they've become a genre. And the reason they've become a genre, I believe, is because they're a comment on materialism. They're a comment on a world in which people are not supposed to believe in God. And they really answer the question of what life would be like if there were no God. You'd just be a piece of meat being eaten by other pieces of meat who are waiting to be eaten themselves. That's all you would be. And I think that's why it has so much resonance in the society. I think that's why it became a genre, because of that. Anyway, it was a great film. They've never matched it. Nothing's ever been as good. And what's really kind of weird is then they made Resident Evil, which I played, which was the video game ripoff of Night of the Living Dead. And then they started making movies of the video game ripoff, ripping out, it just goes on and on forever.